Welcome to Global Vision. And today I'm super, super happy to welcome here with us Sandra Cordero, who also has an Spanish background. And I think that she will tell us a little bit about it. But before we do that, I would love to just welcome you into Global Vision.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. um,
Well, I would love to know a little
mhm.
bit about you. And the question is, who is Sandra Cordero?
Woo.
It's a tough one, huh?
Right? Well, I was born and raised in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, but my dad's from Spain, from Galicia, La Coruña. So I would go in a lot of my summers, I would spend in Spain. And my mom would put me on the bus on one side, and 34 hours later, I would arrive in Spain. And my uncle and aunt would pick me up, and then I would spend my summer there with my family in La Coruña, but also in a small, small village called Basar, close to Santa Comba. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
And tell us, how did you end up becoming a chef?
Ooh, the my road to becoming a chef was not a super quick one. It was not something I knew when I was 10, like I want to be a chef, because I think at that age I didn't also have a lot of role models that were chefs. So I did all like to cook when I was little, and I did always like to make parties for the school or for myself. My birthday was always a big party, and I would cook and organize fun activities and whatnot since I was young. And then I started working in restaurants when I was 15. I just as a server in Amsterdam, and I worked at three different restaurants. And yeah, then I just loved it. I loved hospitality. I loved, people coming in and welcoming and taking care of them, and good food and all of that. It was just, I always really enjoyed it. So I decided, like around 18, I think, that one day I'm going to have my own place. But it took a while to get there. Obviously,
How long it took?
I traveled a lot. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so finally, I traveled a lot in my 20s. Lived in Paris, London, Tokyo, and then I ended up in New York.
Mhm.
Um, and then started working back in restaurants again in New York when I got there. And then I moved to LA to help open a restaurant here, because by then I had some experience, and they asked me to consult on a place. And I had a lot of problems with the chefs. They didn't,
Why?
well, a lot of chefs, I think it's changing, but I think a lot of chefs have big egos. And they're hard to deal with. And I think, especially as a woman, telling them like do this or that, it can still be challenging for a lot of
Mhm,
men to have a woman above them,
mhm.
and especially in this industry. So I had to fire some, and there was always issue. So I was like, okay, I have to go into the kitchen and learn everything from the kitchen before I have my own place, because then I know what to do. So I quit being a GM for 30 people and started chopping onions, working under some really great chefs here in Los Angeles. And then once I got into the kitchen, I was like, oh, this is my home. I love it.
You
This is.
love it, yeah. What do you love about being in the kitchen?
Mhm. Just it's I love the excitement of it's like the we prep in the afternoon and get ready, and then we all eat together. Ideally, we have a staff meal, and then we open, and it's like curtain call. It's like the show, it's like time to perform. And I always love to perform too, so it has that connection. And yeah, then it's showtime, and every plate has to go out perfect and delicious and beautiful, and the server has to, and everything. It's like a dance, it's like a choreography when it goes well. It's
Beautiful.
beautiful, yeah. And there's a lot of fires to put out in the meantime, and I like those challenges too. So yeah, but I like that excitement of the push having to perform.
Wonderful. And
Mhm.
tell me, how did you jump into become also a restaurant owner? Because it's not, that's entrepreneurship. So you
Yeah,
put together both.
yes, I did. Um, which I think was always the goal. So I became a chef to support my entrepreneurial, uh, mind, I guess. And I, yeah, I was always very bossy, so. And as a little girl, you're told like you're too bossy. It's not good to be bossy, But I always love telling people what to do, and I also have, because I think I have a vision. I always see a little bit further ahead than maybe other people do. So I feel like I see the road where I want to go, and that's just a natural, something that came to me very naturally. And I realized along the way, oh, I am an entrepreneur. This is actually, and then I also did more. I did some courses in the last couple of years and to really even become a better business owner and learn more. And I love it. Yeah.
So tell me about your restaurant. And yeah, the name actually is great. So I would love you to tell our viewers about your restaurant. What did you choose that name and the
Yeah.
kind of food that you serve?
Gasolina Cafe is what we're called. Gasolina, at the time I was really, I love to ride motorcycles and two wheels as well. And then that feeling of, we just wanted to create a place where people can just feel good and free, but bring really good food and really good drinks, and but not in a stuffy atmosphere, not like white tablecloth, but more in the spirit of freedom and stuff. And then we were also thinking, good food and really a good coffee in the morning, it fuels you, and gasolina is fuel. So the idea is that our place is like fuel for your body and your soul. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what type of food do you serve?
So very heavily Spanish influenced, but then California has, the greatest produce all year round. So many amazing small farmers and ranchers, and there's really an abundance, and it's very pretty similar to Spain. So what you can get here, so like great olives, oranges, all these things, right? So it really just felt very natural to do a Spanish cuisine, but definitely with some California influences, and just my own influences from, being half Dutch and traveling. I really picked up a lot of different, ideas and flavors. So it's not typical Spanish. I take freedom to play with it, but take us maybe a traditional, like pulpo gallego. We make like a dish which is with the pulpo gallego, but I took the pulpo and put it with a salad and the potatoes and the things and the dressing. And I remember one time when I put a picture on Facebook, my family was like, ¿pero qué es eso? ¿Qué es, Sandra? Eso no es pulpo gallego. And I'm like, I know, but it's the idea of the pulpo made into something new and fresh, So yeah, I love doing that. But we have a very traditional tortilla española, but I serve it with a salad, which in Spain they wouldn't do. And pan tomate jamón, we do patatas bravas.
Qué rico. When I go to LA, I will be going to visit.
Yes, I would love that.
What is the biggest challenges that you have encountered being a restaurant owner? Because I know that it's not easy. We will go later a little bit with the challenges because of COVID, but now I want to know the challenges like an entrepreneurship to open a restaurant, to attract the clientele, to really tell the story that you want to tell. What is the challenges that you encounter?
Well, I think in the beginning when you're small, because I really bootstrapped, we really bootstrapped we didn't have like huge investors behind us. It was really friends and family that helped us out and invested in us to open the restaurant. So it is really hard. I think especially for females is access to capital. As a restaurant, we are considered a very high risk. So the bank doesn't even want to touch us. like, no, you're a high risk. We don't. So access to capital, access to resources. When you're very small, you don't have a lot of buying power. So this can be a challenge too. and then finding good employees. You know, that is definitely key to any successful business, to build that team that believes in your vision, that believes in, you know, your core values, and building that team. And yeah, that is hard. Then in California, like me personally, I had two fires. 2018, 2019, we were dealing with the fires.
Wow.
So that was, you know, then we have the natural disasters, and going, what you're saying, going this year, going into COVID, that has definitely been very challenging.
And how COVID impacted your business?
Whew. COVID has really, the pandemic has honestly decimated our industry. So many of my peers and small independent restaurants had to close their doors for good because of the lack of government support. Even if it came too late for many. They didn't act upon it quickly enough, I think. Um, we are fighting. You know, the silver lining is that a lot of um, coalitions has come out of this, like the Independent Restaurant Coalition, and they started fighting for the smaller businesses and the smaller independent restaurants. But it's just been hard, you know. Like one week they're like, you can be open 50%, and then literally you just hire back your team, prep the food, and they're like, oh, sorry, you have to close again. And just, you know, it's not just, oh, okay, we close the door and we wait. We have all this food that is perishable. There is all your staff, like the yo-yo of last year of open close. And then, you know, the fear of the employees getting COVID too, and having, you know, to deal with the public, um, you know, people not wanting to wear masks or things, or, you know, so it's been really hard on our industry. um,
Definitely.
we are coming out now, and, you know, trying to really stay positive. And you know, restaurateurs are people that like to get stuff done. So we know how to adapt quickly and come up with a lot of great ideas, you know. Like we've been, like us personally, we started feeding the healthcare workers. So we, last year, my small staff of like literally 5, 6 people, maybe sometimes back to 8, we did over 33,000 meals for hospital
Wow.
workers. We fed 9 different hospitals here in our area.
Hmm.
So we could cook it, pack it, and deliver it, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, we kept busy. But
Definitely.
yeah, but it's been hard. um but we're hoping, we were just allowed to open our patio back up,
Hmm.
you know. So we're hoping that this is the end, that the end is in sight, right?
Of
And
course.
yeah,
I think it's almost there. So we have to keep it up.
exactly.
One thing I really, really love is that, of course, you keep moving and creating ideas and ways to just take the best of it. And the idea of rare hair just came
Mhm.
out from you. I think you are one of the founders, and I would love to know a little bit more about this organization. What do you do? How the idea came about?
Yeah, so we were starting with the help of the James Beard Foundation.
Hmm.
There was this thing called Let's Talk. And
Yeah.
it's like you and I right now, we would get women restaurateurs just on a Zoom call, and we started talking once a month. And then we had our LA chapter,
Hmm.
and we started talking, and it was getting, you know, really bad back in November. It was looking grim. We were being closed down again for the, I think, third time, and we were like, what are we going to do? And as I said, we are people that like to get things done. We don't like to sit and wait. So with 9 other female restaurateurs, all amazing women, we started regarding her. Lynn from All Day Baby came up with the name, and she got this amazing designer who did the logo, and she worked with her. And then we were like, yeah, let's do something. Let's get the women together in Los Angeles, and let's try to really help each other, support each other. try to uplift, because it'd been such a dark year. Like it'd been
Yeah.
everything was so depressing. So we're like, let's do something to bring back some fun, even like something to be excited about, because everything was just about surviving. And we don't want to just survive, right? We want to thrive. And restaurateurs are the people who like to take care of others. So we said, let's do a festival, even if it's going to be challenging. And it was 10 days regarding her, because January is normally always a really bad month for restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
because it's after, everybody spend their money, everybody's
Christmas.
going on a diet in January, save their money. So we're like, let's do something. So we got 95 restaurants in Los Angeles to join. There are members, and we all started doing collaborations. So one restaurant, we would do menus. One restaurant would do the appetizer, the other one the main, the other one the dessert. And then we had virtual conversations, again, like this, about different topics. We had, Gasolina Cafe did something with Rosso Blue, a pizza place. They gave us the pizza bottom, and we made a Spanish pizza. So it had chorizo manchego, mushrooms, and it was beautiful. And then people can pick it up at their restaurant and here. So we started doing a lot of cross promotion like that. And also really showing off restaurants that, maybe weren't that known yet, and trying to get them publicity. And it really took off. It was wonderful. And I got to meet so many other restaurateurs in LA, all these beautiful women. And, this restaurant in Inglewood, she's telling me about her oxtail dish from Belize. And I
Wow.
was like, oh my God, delicious, Yeah, and just hearing their stories, getting to know more women. And the idea of regarding her, the festival is done, and that was the first thing. But now we're really working on we now already have more than 220 members. So all female owned restaurants, or the chef, the executive chef being female. And we are now working on mentorship and really creating this network and trying to get resources. We have big plans.
Beautiful.
This is just the beginning. We're only, barely 3 months old. So we're still a baby, but we have big plans, and the 9 of us are really, it's amazing what we can do when we really get together and put all our strengths together, and our wisdoms and all that, and really just sharing information has been so helpful. Like, oh, have you looked into this? Have you looked into that? Oh, there's a new grant out you can apply for, or oh, I need anything. And we're really trying to build that now for all our members, so we can have a strong network and group, and really try to, uplift, empower. Yeah.
I find it fascinating. So tell me, how do you do? Because I know that the requirements of time that to just handle a restaurant, being the chef, how do you combine that with your family? I mean, for a woman, it should be so much difficult, because sometimes you work double shifts. You're working at home and you work also outside. So for you, how that works for you?
I feel guilty all the time.
Why?
That I'm not a good enough mom, and not a good enough boss, and not a good enough, this is the truth. But I guess maybe that also drives me, trying to become better at all of it. I'm lucky my husband works from home. So
Okay.
he's been able to really take care of our daughter, because I have a 9-year-old daughter, Matilda.
Yeah.
But he was actually gone last month. So I was taking her to work. She was doing school here in this office, because they're on Zoom, dragging her along. She spent some time here at work. She definitely complains, Mommy, why are you on the computer again? Why are you, but we make it work, but this is definitely something I hope to see some change in too. And I hope personally that this is we can make better for the next generation of restaurateurs and chefs, and to have better opportunities for for when you're pregnant and when you have the baby, and all these things. For me, my career, I definitely had to stop for a little bit when I had Matilda. And I started doing my own catering and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of possibility in the industry. When I was a young mom, when I just had the baby, it was very hard because the jobs weren't able to accommodate anything,
Of
So this
course.
is definitely something that I think why a lot of women are still behind in many industries,
Mhm.
because there's very little support when we have a baby or when we have a family. And so this is definitely something that needs to get better, and that I'm hoping we can change. But it is really hard. It's also really hard as the business owner, and if you have a small business, to be able to it took me 5 years to give my employees health care, which we were
Yeah,
just able to do, and which was for me very important, because I feel like everybody should have health care.
of
you know,
course.
it's, so, but these things are challenging as a business owner as
Mhm.
well. And going through these challenges now and creating groups like Regarding Her and stuff, we can start having more conversations about this. And because of people like you bringing light to these situations, we need to have conversations about this so we can make change. So,
That's
yeah.
exactly what we are all about. And talking about change, a lot of
Mhm.
people discuss the fact that COVID is going to change also the way that we entertain ourselves. And if we continue to go to restaurants, if we will eat more at home. So, what is the future that you envision for this industry?
I think, the takeout model and eating at home was already growing a lot before COVID.
Mhm.
But I do think people need to, what I'm envisioning, I'm hoping people need to still see that, eating out and eating at a restaurant is something special, and I think we start taking it for granted that everything, is so. Maybe people can realize this is, like something. I feel like they should treat it as something a little bit more special. Like understand that there's a lot of love and passion that goes into this industry. Having a small restaurant is not, like a ching chang moneymaker. And most people started because they, out of a passion and out of love. So, and also for the customers to really understand what food costs, what
Mhm.
real food costs, you know, that there is a farmer, that there is a rancher, that there is, when you're paying, $1 for your chicken, you really have to think, where does this chicken come from and how was it raised? Because like that's kind of impossible,
Mhm.
So I mean, this is a whole other subject we can go into with sustainability, and we need another interview
And
for that.
I would definitely gonna keep that in mind because I love that.
Yeah, but there is, just I don't know. I hope people are gonna the change. I do think, if we look at the history and we look at the Spanish flu, there was the roaring 20s after that. So
Mhm.
I do think people are going to really want to go out and really want to party when they can again, and
I
have
agree.
it's not the same. We've done all the takeout food. It's not the same. I cannot give you the same. The experience is the whole experience, right?
Mhm.
It's coming to our place, the decor, the music, the servers, and then the food, the plating, and then the taste. It's not only the taste in a container. It's never going to feel the same. So I think people are going to really want to have that experience again. But I hope they understand that to create an experience like that, a lot goes into it, and they have to hopefully appreciate it too, and yeah.
I'm pretty sure that people appreciate that. I mean, I think that there is pleasure and excitement to go to a restaurant to try new foods and to just be in the atmosphere. Nothing could substitute that. So I agree with you. And just one last question. What is the star dish in your restaurant? Which thing I could not miss when I got to visit?
Ooh, well, I think in our daytime menu, Oh, it's so hard. But we do the patatas bravas. We are, people like, and we make a homemade brava sauce, aioli. Then we put jamon,
Mm.
chorizo, and an egg. So this is really like a good brunch, American brunch dish that is that's I would think it's our most popular. But also in about a couple of weeks we're starting dinner.
Mhm.
And even if it's not from my region, once I started cooking Spanish food, people were always asking me to cook paella. See my pants?
I see that. I am from Valencia, so
Oh,
paella is a serious business for me.
yes. So I do paella too. I learned how to cook a paella because people are always like, "You're Spanish, you have to cook paella." Okay, So I do a lot of different kinds of paella, and I,
Wow.
I love to make, not only the one de mariscos, but I do one de carne, de setas. We do the black squid ink with the sepia and the calamares, and I like to make a lot of different ones. So that's something that's going to be on our menu as a staple for the dinner. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good dishes.
But just with what you explained so far, you give me gasolina already. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Sandra. It's been a pleasure. And obviously, there is another conversation about the food and where the food is coming from and how to be more sustainable and respectful with the planet and food. And it will be another conversation for us, okay? Thank you
Okay.
so much for your time. And I know that in LA you just started. For me, it's almost lunchtime now. But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Same